And see how the cameras just do like that. And then you'll
Right across the street.
minimize that. And then, hold on, go back to that. Errors occurred. So,
Ooh, look at that cut.
Wow.
Wee.
A little bit lighter.
Yeah, a lot lighter. It gets a lot colder too.
Well, from something.
I'm just trying to help people without hair, that's all.
How are you?
Another day in paradise.
Your paradise is bigger than mine.
I've got my hands full.
So Waste Pro came over and picked up my trash can.
So are you?
Not my recyclable.
The thought leaders welcome you now.
No, my trash can. Yeah. I still have both Waste Pro recyclable.
There's a date that you're supposed to put it out, the old one out.
No, they came to my neighborhood on Monday.
I sold mine to Warren.
Did
Got $5.
I told him he come pick mine.
We were supposed to put them out yesterday, but I didn't. But they picked it up today.
They literally
took our
picked up,
garbage in our can.
they took your garbage can? So what do you put your garbage in
Well,
at?
our old one was, we had garbage already in the old one, so they took them both today.
They took them both and like took them all
They
property.
took the garbage and took the can with it.
So why did they pick up the cans?
Because we got new cans.
But that's the recyclable one.
No, I don't think it is.
I heard they were doing both. I've never known to with them.
My recycle bin is smaller than my regular.
Right. That's what my problem is they took my other can, which was bigger, that I put trash in.
Up to your recycle.
They just left me my old recycle bin and my new one.
Oh, I got
And,
you.
My son's in charge of trash, so if they want the old trash can, they're just going to have to come get it from me. It's not going to be convenient.
I've got an extra one if you need.
Okay, thank you. Just a trash can, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I now have 3 regular sized trash cans.
We're live. Evan said it like I could say something stupid. I don't understand where she gets that from.
no assumption.
Oh man, it is 10 seconds after. I'm late. Apologize. Let's call this meeting to order. Everybody but Marshall is here. Do we know if he's coming?
He did say he was.
Okay. Oh, he may come in late. All commissioners present with the exception of Marshall. This is Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Anybody that can, please stand. I will lead us in a prayer, and Matthew will lead us in the pledge. God, we thank you so much for this city that we all get to live in. God, it's a great treat. It's a great city, and we just enjoy it so much. Help us to make good decisions to keep that going. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, with the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. So, the meeting is called to order. Check. I'd like to entertain a motion to amend the agenda, if somebody will make it, to remove item 4D Part 3. That's regarding the land use matrix, regarding the marina. I understand planning has some more homework to do, I guess, and wanted another month.
Andy, I'll make a motion that we remove and table under D, Chapter 3, Table 3.6.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. So I have a motion by Matthew, second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. So that will be, do we know if it'll be next month or hopefully next month, but
Hopefully, but check the agenda when
it'll be advertised, yeah. All right, well, let me ask you this, would that have to be re-advertised?
if you're we'll defer to next month, and then we can probably update it.
So hopefully that'll be on next month, but we'll know when the agendas come out. All right, item 2A is the approval of minutes from the February 13th meeting. Do I have a motion, or does anybody have any comments?
No comments, make motion that we accept.
Motion
Second.
Matthew, second Joey, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And then one last little off-agenda item. Do I have a motion to go into a closed session to discuss some potential litigation matters?
Make a motion, we go into closed session?
Motion, Joe, sorry for the record, Marshall is here. Motion by Joe to go to closed session, second by?
Me.
Mike, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I don't believe it'll be long.
At the time, they charged on quick. And now they charge. They charge on maintenance for one, but everything's pretty much the same. On the length that you have, if you've got that stuff, this is how much you will pay. And charge about a lift for the strip. They could budget it a lot deeper. That strip is going forward. That amount of money started with us. Lengthwise. And so, but not necessarily. I wrote 4 times ago, and that is again. The beauty of it being self-sustaining. The two things in the county that are self-sustaining golf course, the county golf course. Well, yeah, the rents are very reasonable compared to other. Well, that, but it's. Right. I first voted, my dad got a vote. I first got still.
But there's still looks around.
They're not available. The waiting list for voting. In the outer place, seven days. That's where I bring him on the coast here. There are some that walk there, and that Main Street was the, yeah, so that's pretty rough there. Now the marina there, boardwalk, they're not accepting, they're presenting. Oh, you're not gonna put any more boats in. They're high line. They're off coast.
Yeah. They did that several years ago, didn't they?
Well, it went out of business 7 years ago. And they started this boat, build it up. And I was talking to this one school. They're having a lot of people wanting to get sleeping there for a little bit. And it's messing up this, that, and anyhow, they closed it down. And some of them may have been the engineering projects that right, now they're like, yeah, there's a lot of systems. Yeah.
And during storm surge, that debris came all the way up to the ship.
Yeah, well, I mean, our house is 21 feet below. We've lost the water. They're on tar. Question how point with building the arena out here, what as I understand what other bit around $400,000 security for house and looking at the mayor $400,000 grant. But that doesn't address anything about whether or not or how it's going to be maintained. Go out here, there's a lot of ballpark, it's certainly doesn't want to how much money has been spent on sidewalks?
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, I mean, I'm just using that as an example of what it's also more that I do not know where they stand with respect to federal my wife has got some issues with building structure in the front. That is not completely full for migration of skirting migration. So, you're that's one of the reasons that the Lexington final bed harbor has got those pillars with the three floats. On the front page, the harbor always not have like that serves. Yeah. I don't know where that stands now. That's when I was there. It was very bright. Had every structure. This structure. Yeah. So loud, very and that's good. That's yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. Well, yeah, it's you know, federal man. Yeah. Well, I worked in research. Right. Started in 1967. Right. I left. Work. So I got there. I was retired. Yeah. That's right. Right. I don't mind. Yeah. Ended up in our backyard.
It's the only street in the ocean that you can corner. That's that straight down. So why would you want to build anything there? When it is, people actually stop, get out, and take pictures in the middle of the road, that water and the tree-lined street.
Before, they are like just the same. And I'm so impressed by it.
Where'd this come from? Where'd this come from? We're talking about this today.
That's the one we struck.
Want me to make a motion that it come out?
We're back. Will's gonna update us.
So there were two motions made in executive session. One to discuss litigation related to 104 Cary Cove, and a second to discuss litigation related to 100 Winchester. That was all. No action was taken.
Okay. We don't need a motion to come out, or we already did that. We don't need one here.
There was motion to come out of executive session by Matt, seconded by Kevin, unanimous. So now we're out of executive session.
Okay. All right, and we just got a letter out on our desk when we came back in. It looks like it's relative to the item that was struck. Actually, it looks like it's,
I think it pertains to under public hearing under D.
yeah, but it's talking about construction. Anyway, does anybody want to make a motion to accept this into the minutes?
So moved.
Motion Kevin,
Second.
second. Matthew, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. Okay. All right, so we are on to old business, of which we have none, so we are on to new business. Item 4A is going to be a public hearing at 106 Arbor Vista, parcel ID 610-20005-000. Aaron and Jamie Gallagher requesting a residential short-term rental permit. Do I have a motion to go into a public hearing? Matthew?
Second.
Second. Mike? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. We are in a public hearing. I'm assuming Carolyn will tell us about this one.
Yep. The application you have in front of you, the local property manager does reside on Magnolia Bayou Boulevard, which satisfies the residency required for the local property manager. The notice was sent to 75 property owners within the 500 feet of the property, and as of this point, no input was received to the planning department. The inspection took place on January 18th and was approved for a maximum occupancy of 6 and a maximum number of vehicles of 4. A check with the police department and code enforcement officer did not reveal any complaints or activity within the last 12 months related to this property. So those were all the boxes were checked, everything cleared review, and so now it is before you, eligible for a short-term rental permit subject to annual renewal.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for staff before we go to the public? No? Is the applicant in the audience? Did you want to say anything at the microphone?
Sure.
Name and address to start, please.
Aaron Gallagher, 106 Arbor Vista. Love Ocean Springs. My wife and I came here for the first time in 2021. Our daughter was 18 over in the beach, 18 months. Loved it. We started looking for a property, bought it. At the time, I was able to work remotely, and so I essentially wanted to have a place I could work remotely up in the Memphis area and then come down here and spend a few months. So I was doing that for about 4 or 5 months, and then my company changed their policies and said can't work remotely. So now I have to be in office 4 days a week, so got a short-term rental permit on 105. So we had that hearing, I think it was in May of 2022. And the lady across the street, her name was Denise, and I got to know her. She was actually taking care of a 3-month-old boy who had been abandoned by his parents. Long story short, we adopted him. So my middle son is actually from Ocean Springs, so we love this place. And so then later, Denise had a heart surgery that was botched. She went blind. I asked her how I could help, and she said, I can't live by myself anymore. Would you want to buy my house? So it was not in great shape. Very short way to say it. So anyway, we started renovating that and are trying to apply for a short-term rental so that we can use that property for rental, and then hopefully we can come down and stay in it as well. So we love this city. My family loves it, so we try to abide by all the rules to go through the application process. So appreciate you all.
Real quick, do you know of any police reports on this property? Probably
No,
not.
we bought it in October. October 11th was our closing date. Prior to that, Denise had been deceased. She actually died shortly after she went blind. But the house had been vacant for 3 or 4 months before, and then it had been from when she died, and then she actually hadn't been living there for a while before that. So we took possession of it.
And the last question I would have, no, you haven't been renting this short-term at all yet today? Perfect.
Nobody's been there except me.
Okay. All right, thank you, Aaron. We'll let you know, and if you need a chance to come back, we'll.
One other thing, Andy. The city was provided covenants. I had an opportunity to review them. It was just provided today on allegedly on this land. Do you know of any covenants?
Yes, I have a copy of the, I talked with an attorney that,
Are those,
these are not, let's see. Yeah, 1969. Yeah, I have a copy of these.
are those the covenants?
They are,
Okay.
yeah. And I've read through them all. I had an attorney that does work for me take a look at them as well. Number one would be the only, I mean, you can look, you're an attorney.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily want to get in the lane.
Yeah.
My second question would be, is there any sort of active HOA with the
No,
subdivision?
there's no active HOA. I actually, both properties, 105 and then of course the 106 we bought from Denise who lived across the street. They actually didn't even have the covenants on the docket, like to give us when we bought it because they're like 58 years old or something. This covenant, the idea was brought up in our it was Tuesday, May 10th, 2022, the first hearing for the house across the street. Somebody did bring up the covenants, and you actually took a look at it, and essentially said, hey, number one, I think it's been a while. You looked through a lot of documents,
Sure.
I don't expect you to remember, but basically said, number one, it says has to be residential. Like that's, I mean, you can look at it when you want, but number one's really the only. Number two is interesting, it says every house built has to be at least more than $10,000 to cost to build, so that's interesting language. Yeah.
Way back then.
Yeah.
Got a hard time.
Yeah, long time.
I certainly don't suspect it should be an issue, but it's going to be my recommendation to the commission tonight to table this item the next month, so we can at least have myself look at the covenants and then the planning department eventually see if there's any active HOA, but beyond that.
Sure. And I don't know if
I'm not saying that,
Sure,
I haven't
sure,
read the covenants, I'm not saying they violate the ordinance or violate short-term rentals or whatever, that's just going to be my recommendation tonight, because I just am not a fan.
Sure.
So Will, in light of that, I mean, I would suggest we go ahead and open the floor to the public and everything anyway, and
Yeah,
hear them
I
out,
was going to say we continue on with the hearing.
because it wouldn't be a public hearing after that, so we don't want to
No, it would
have
come
anybody
back
miss
to
it.
full
Right.
business.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so, anybody in the audience want to speak regarding the 106 Arbor Vista short-term rental? You be for it, against it, just anything related to 106 Arbor Vista? Short-term rental. Going once, twice, sold. Do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
No, don't do that. He just raised his hand.
Yeah, he has a fella at the end, Andy has a comment.
Do you have a comment on 106
I
Arbor
live on
Vista?
102, Arbor Vista.
We'll need you, if you want to speak, we'll need you at the microphone and
All
state
right.
your name and address, please.
Can I pass these out? These are the,
Yeah.
all right.
Here, I can pass them out for you.
Would you do that? Thank you very much.
These are the covenants.
You said 102.
102 Arbor Vista.
You said, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. What was it?
Rudolph.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Let me, I'll check my piece of extras. I don't know that this is it should be.
All right, I can carry it. All right.
So we're broadcasting live just for
Are we?
purposes.
Oh, there you go.
You gotta talk in the
Yep,
mic.
got a
Okay,
microphone.
we'll-
So I appreciate it.
All right, that's- didn't know you did.
Yeah.
That's big, yeah. Very good. Can I ask a question? What is the definition of a commercial property?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, can you tell me what the definition of a commercial property is as opposed to a residential property?
I don't believe we don't have definitions in front of us to cite from.
And I don't know them. And here's the reason for asking. This property is, they collect sales tax on it, which looks to me like commercial property. And they don't, and by the way, I'm 85 and I'm beginning to have be a little slow in the head.
Okay.
But they don't have a way of taxing normal rentals. You don't even tax commercial rentals, but you do tax. Give an old man a chance to think. You do tax motels and hotels and so forth. And I think this falls into a hotel or motel rule, because we do collect sales tax on this for the schools and what have you. And what my point is that I live on a little street with 8 houses, no, maybe 10 houses. Give me a moment. And 2 of them now are going to be rentals, and are not going to have anybody living in them. So I'm not going to have any neighbors there, whereas I had neighbors before that I knew. I won't know these neighbors, and that's a huge percentage of my neighbors, is that I now have 2 rentals on there that I don't know them. And I think that I was not prepared for this. I just saw I guess I ignored the city letters that were sent to me, which is my own fault. This is a covenant of the land there, but it doesn't deal with these short-term rentals. And we have really let it, I have never, well, I let it lapse. I didn't want to get in the business of criticizing a neighbor. So I stayed clear of somebody who put a fence in their front yard. We have 2 of those now. I stayed clear of someone who I can remember the other things they violated, but there's other things that we just did not act on. But now I'm realizing we really should have kept this HOA alive, because all of a sudden we're losing control of our property, we're losing control of our neighborhood. And I now have, by the way, there's 2 on my street now, or maybe 3, but in touching the neighborhood within not 2 more. So this is I slept through this, and now I'm realizing I should never have done that. I should have spoken up or listened up or formed a group and met with people, and I did not do it. I am negligent, but I did. I'm negligent. So this is the skeleton of a covenant on the property. It doesn't, as he points out, it's completely out of date. And I let it, I ignored it, and I should never have done that. So now we're going to have to form and meet and discuss what's going on. And I don't want to do that. I'm too old for it. But there you have it. That's my point of view.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rudolph. Are these should we accept these in the minutes, or
Please,
are they
that's the
already-
official.
Talking,
I make a motion that we accept the covenants as for our business.
I don't know if it was already in the
First
minutes.
motion
or
is the ones you handed me, and then let's, I don't know if these.
This one's not complete. This
It
starts
doesn't
at point
even
8.
say what it covers.
Yeah, the
one we got is just one page and it starts on.
It should be 2 pages.
Yes, sir, it's one, we only have one.
Oh, my printer, well, I have my printer do this.
But we do have them.
Printer and
We-
ask him to
yeah.
do this and, you know.
So we'll still entertain,
Yeah.
if you get it, go ahead.
Yeah, make a motion. I have one question.
All right. So we make a motion that we accept the covenances for Arbor Vista into the minutes.
Motion Matthew, second Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So those will be in the minutes for board to consider.
And sir, I think you already answered this, but as far as you're aware that there's no active HOA currently?
No, we're not active now. But I had no idea that, well, I just think that.
I think we all are a little bit at times. All right, so we have those in the minutes. Was anybody else in the audience wanting to speak? Okay, we have a motion to close public hearing on 106, motion Matthew, second Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, we are out of public hearing. Does anybody have any follow-up comments? So just to reiterate, Will recommends we table so he has time to look over the covenants, yes.
Will, can we, if we made a motion to recommend an approval with the contingent upon you doing your looking at, is that something that we could do to just, because right now the way I see it is, there's no active HOA and the covenances haven't been enforced and they're very
I'm fine with
vague.
that. I mean, we've obviously done, contingent motions in the past. I will say I would prefer that we start getting away from those, just to be as clean as possible, but are you saying subject to me reviewing the covenants?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Because it wouldn't go to the board until the first one in April anyway, so that gives a couple more weeks.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll say this, if there's no active HOA, which we're not aware of, the covenants really don't matter. The ordinance suggests that, it doesn't suggest, it says with an active HOA with covenants. So if there's no active HOA, the city doesn't need to interpret the covenants really. So on that, if you want to make a recommendation based on that, then that's fine.
Okay.
And we'll reflect whatever his findings are when it goes to the board.
You want to make a motion, Matthew?
I can make a motion.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to make a motion that we recommend approval for 106 Arbor Vista, PIN 6102, triple lot 5 point triple lot for the short-term rental permit to annual renewal, subject to the city attorney's findings with the HOA, not HOA, covenants.
Okay, so we have a motion from Matthew to recommend approval, provided attorney has time to get it before the board meeting. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second, Joey. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So that will be heard at the April, what?
First Tuesday.
Second.
Second.
All right, and so the way that works for the audience and for Mr. Gallagher is, April 2nd would be the first board meeting. That's when the actual deal would go through. They will take what will look at everything there and make a recommendation to the board. We just recommend approval or not. The board can hear it and overturn either way. All right, next item 4B, public hearing, 808 D Soto, number 11. This is parcel ID 601-19106-050. Hunter Odom is requesting a residential short-term rental permit. Do I have a motion to go to public hearing? So moved. Motion Mike, second Matthew, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We're in public hearing, Ms. Carolyn.
Okay. Local property manager for this one also lives on Magnolia Valley Boulevard, satisfying the local manager requirement. Now, this one does have, it's a multi-family, it's a condominium here on DeSoto. They do have covenants, but they did amend theirs specifically to allow short-term rentals. So I do have a copy of that in the file, so that box has been checked as far as that has an active HOA who has approved. The notices were sent to 46 property owners within the 500 feet of the property. and as of this date, no input was received. So the inspection took place on January 23rd and was approved for a maximum of 6 people and 3 vehicles. The checks with both police department and code enforcement did not find any violations or reports within the last 12 months. So after checking with all appropriate internal departments, everything's been approved and is eligible for consideration for the short-term rental subject to annual renewal.
Okay, thank you, Carolyn. Is the applicant in the audience? Did you want to speak?
Sure.
All right, name and address at the microphone, please.
Hunter Odom, my address for the short-term rental is 808 DeSoto Street, Unit 11, Ocean Springs. My current resident address is 1768 May Street in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Good evening, commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. This really is a dream come true for me. Like I said, I live in Baton Rouge. Most of my family is from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, so I grew up coming over here. I have cousins in Bay St. Louis. My mom's from Gulfport. Until recently, my grandparents lived in Pastor's Jam, so no stranger to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. But I really fell in love with Ocean Springs when I first came here when I was a kid, and I made it a life goal to try to own some property here at some point. My goal here is to spend time on the coast when I can. We're planning to spend Easter here at the Arts Festival next weekend. Plan to come to the Poker Title tennis tournament. My sailboat's currently in Biloxi, and I've been on, like we were talking about earlier, the wait list to the Ocean Springs Small Craft Harbor is rather long, but I've been on it for a couple of years trying to get in. Again, my goal is to use the property as a short-term rental when I'm not using it personally, and split time between Baton Rouge and here. My wife loves it here. She's a fashion designer, so I thought this would be a good creative space for her for creating designs. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Hunter. Are you aware of any police reports?
No, Commissioner, not this time.
Okay, and then you haven't been renting it to date, have you?
No.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, anybody in the audience want to speak regarding the 808 DeSoto short-term rental? 808 DeSoto. Once, twice sold. Do I have a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
Motion Matthew, second Kevin. Sure. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are out of public hearing. Do I have any further comments? And if not, do I have a motion?
Got your motion. Recommend approval of residential short-term permit for 808 DeSoto, Unit 11, PID 60119106.050, subject to annual renewal.
Okay, motion Kevin, second.
Second.
I heard Matthew, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So again, that will be on the April 2nd board agenda for final approval. All right, item 4C, public hearing for 320 Magnolia Avenue, parcel ID is 610-111-06000. Gary Tucker requesting a residential short-term rental permit. Do I have a motion to go to public hearing?
So moved.
Motion Mike, second Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in a public hearing. Mrs. Carolyn.
Okay, the local property manager for this does have a brick and mortar on Porter that was recently modified in the ordinance to allow for that. So that does meet the requirement to have a local property manager within the 2 miles of the city limit. The notice for this hearing was sent to 56 property owners within 500 feet. And the inspection took place on February 1st, where occupancy of 6 and maximum number of vehicles of 4 were approved by the fire marshal and building inspector, building official respectively. We did do a check, again, with the police department, court, and the code enforcement officer, and no records were found on this address for the last 12 months. So it does meet all of the code requirements, and it is eligible for a criminal permit subject to annual renewal.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Carolyn? All right, is the applicant in the audience? No? Okay. Does anybody in the audience want to speak to the 320 Magnolia Avenue short-term rental? Anybody, 320 Magnolia? Once.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second. Kevin, second Matthew. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are out of public hearing. Any further comments? And if not, any motions?
I make a motion to approve three.
Can we hold off on a motion?
I'm sorry.
Till Mike is here.
Gail, when you were talking about the brick and mortar, were you talking about the Rain Residential?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see
It was
that.
modified, so at least as long as they had an office within the city limits.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fine. And I know Cindy, she's not gonna take nothing from nobody.
Not a concern.
Okay, so Mike, we are out of public hearing, and Kevin was just, was it you? Joey was just entertaining a motion.
I make a motion to approve 320 Magnolia Avenue, PID 610-111-06.000 for residential short-term rental subject to annual renewal.
Okay, motion Joey. Second by Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? April 2nd for final decision. All right. So the next item, 4D, again, omitting everything related to item 3, chapter 3, table 3-6, which is a land use, but all the other items still being active. Do I have a motion to go to public hearing?
So moved.
Second. Matthew, second by Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in a public hearing. Is this a waitism?
It is, thank you. Okay, this is several proposed amendments to the Unified Development Code. Just as a reminder, we do review the code periodically and make proposed amendments to it that, whether we see errors in it or changes in situations that call for the amendments. So the first one is to the regulations dealing with historically platted non-conforming lots. The current UDC requirements say that in order to build on a vacant, non-conforming lot, when it's either too narrow or undersized, first the owner makes a recommendation, makes an application to the planning commission, gets a recommendation from y'all, and then goes on to the board of mayor and aldermen for their approval. So far, the properties that have gone through this process, for the most part, have not generated a lot of negative impact or controversy in discussion. So what we're proposing is to remove the requirement for planning commission and board of aldermen approval. Instead, this would be an administrative approval, simply with an application for a building permit. So I understand that since these are non-conforming lots, any reduction in the building setback distances will still require an application for a variance. That will not change. But that's the first proposal, first amendment. Second one is to really deal with something that was partly dealt with some years ago, back in 2020, regarding the setback of commercial buildings from their front property line. In 2020, there was an amendment made to change that maximum setback, but however, the footnote that calls for 80% of the frontage to be at the setback line was inadvertently not included in the ordinance that was taken to the board. So this amendment will make that consistent with the approval done in 2020. Number 4 is to correct a inconsistency between a table in the UDC and the text of the UDC regarding landscaping between commercial and residential properties. This was, like I said, simply a table consistent with the text, which is a requirement of the UDC anyway, but so this simply clarifies that. Number 5 deals with shared parking and requirements for that. And from reading the text, the way it is worded, it requires at least a 25% reduction. I think that was not the intent of when this was drafted, but it's something through some grammatical error. That was the situation. So this would change that to a maximum of 25% of parking variation. The next two items, we deal with stormwater infrastructure. The first is an addition to our requirements of information is put on a subdivision or development plat. We were recently assessed by the Department of Environmental Quality regarding our stormwater plans, and one of their takeaways from that was that we need to have a statement in regarding retention ponds to make it clear that the responsibility for the management of that is either the homeowners association or the developer. So that text in the red on page 3 would be added to any subdivision plan in the future. Next one is deals with some inconsistencies and errors basically within our section of the UDC on stormwater collection systems, dealing with references to incorrect sections or wrong sections that don't exist. So this would back that out a bit, and instead of referring to specific sections of the UDC, refer to the heading or title of that appropriate part, such as the definitions rather than the specific section. The final item is to add a definition for single-family attached, which is referred to in the matrix of allowing particular uses, but it is not a defined term in the definition section, so this would add that very simple definition to a single-family attached dwelling, so that does fulfill that that part of the definitions. And I think that concludes everything. The ordinance is attached to the report, and if you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Okay, before we go public, anybody got anything to talk to Wade about?
Wade, in the staff report, just on the proposed motion, where would item number 3,
It is,
what language would need to be stricken out?
it is in the third line at the very far right-hand side of it, the reference to table 3.6 language matrix. That you would strike that.
So table 3.6, land use matrix?
That's correct.
Anything
yes.
else?
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, Wade, I got a couple of things, maybe they're just for the record, but just for my own personal edification. I did see on the non-conforming, you do say, like, if they were, that doesn't mean they can build as big a house as they want without the proper variances, right? It's a non-conforming lot, but the setbacks are per current code, and everything else is per current code, just not the lot size and or front width, right?
Right, exactly, that, you know, if it has a 25-foot front yard setback, then the standard would be to comply with that. Anything different from that would still have to go through the variance process, show that it's a hardship, and get approval from the board of Alderman.
I would assume the hardship could not be that it's a non-conforming lot, correct?
Well, that would be up to the board, but typically that is not a
Good point. All right, and then the landscaping, it looks like we are making landscaping required, not taking it away, correct?
That is correct.
And then, I don't know if we need to add this, but on the chapter 7, the single family attached, should we just kind of put in there that it's commonly called a duplex?
Well, it's really different from a duplex in that a duplex is on one lot.
Okay.
This will be a situation where you do have a lot line separating the two. Being one structure with a lot line.
But it can only be 2 units in this
It would be
case?
2 units, correct.
Okay. So it's not a duplex,
It's not a duplex, it's a
it's
duplex
a
home.
2-room condo, basically. Or
Two
two-unit
lot.
condo, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Glad I asked the question.
Two-unit condo with a shared wall.
I mean, on the ground, it will probably, you know,
It would look like
might
a
not look,
duplex.
it'll look no different from a duplex, but the potential is for each side be separately owned, owner occupied.
Actually, it'd be a two-unit townhome, because a condo you don't own the land. Okay, thank you, Wade. All right, we are in a,
Andy, one other thing, just once you come out of public hearing, it may be more cumbersome and take more time, but I would suggest either, number one, taking the motions separately on each individual one, or having more discussion with commissioners at the end if anybody has a certain feeling on one and wants to separate that out. I just don't
we'll do
want them
individual
to,
motions.
the whole thing to fail if the commissioner has an issue with one.
Okay, we'll do motions individually, but we'll hear public
Sure.
as presented. That works. All right, so we are in a public hearing for the amendments to the UDC. Just to kind of quickly recap, it is to kind of bypass the planning commission for his building on historical lots that don't conform with current codes. The building setback, this is just to not try to pin the building up close if they want to go a little further back. Making sure that landscape standards are upheld per the text and have the text match the chart. Allow for shared parking that goes up to 25%, not 25% or more. Final plat per NDEQ recommendations, and then getting rid of some errant or outdated links and references, and defining a not duplex, a attached single family. So those are those. Does anybody in the audience want to speak to any of those or have any questions? Because they may want to speak to them.
I do have a question.
Oh, I saw her up first. Either one. Name and address at the microphone first, please.
Hello, my name is Hannah Navarro, and I live at 517 Rayburn Avenue. So actually, could you just elucidate, sir, on number 3 a bit more?
Number 3.
That one has been stricken from
Oh, it
the,
was stricken.
yeah, it's tabled to a further date.
Yeah, we amended, I don't know if you were here at the very beginning, but we amended the agenda. They wanted
No,
to.
I was not.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the planning department wants to go back and sharpen their pencils, I guess, on that one. Just kind of review some input that's received and just make sure that the intent is met. So that one's not being discussed tonight.
It'll either come back to the next meeting or be re-advertised.
Okay, I noticed it wasn't discussed, but I wondered why, so
Yeah,
thank you so much.
yeah, we amended the agenda at the beginning.
It's Hannah Navarro. Okay.
All right, thanks, Ms. Hannah. And then you had your hand up?
Patricia Joachim Creel, 517 Rayburn Avenue, Cottage. My question is, the property that you are now speaking of, what's the address?
The property?
What you were talking about with the duplex?
Oh, there is no address. This is just a definition getting added to the UDC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally like it'll add the words that a dwelling, single-family attached is a 2 dwelling units, each owned in fee simple and located on individual lots that are adjoined along a single lot line. So it's just adding, it could apply to any property that allows the single-family attached. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing in particular yet.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't catch your name.
Patricia Joachim Creel,
And you said 307?
517
517.
Rayburn Cottage. There's 2 on that property.
Okay. Anybody else on any of these items? Anybody else in the audience on these items? Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Mike, second by Joey, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right, so we're out of public hearing. Does anybody want to speak to one of these in particular? Have any questions or anything they'd like to change? And I do think that for clarity's sake, it probably would be better just to entertain motions one at a time. So if nobody has any questions or comments, well, let's just start. Does anybody have anything on the historically platted non-conforming lot addition?
Oh, makes sense.
Okay. Do I have a motion to recommend approval as presented?
So moved.
Motion Mike, second
Kevin?
Kevin, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, so that'll be recommended for approval. Will these be heard on 4-2 as well, right?
This is, yes, it will be re-advertised for a second public hearing before the board.
All right, so number 2, again, kind of paraphrasing, is not requiring the minimum setback. I'm sorry, the maximum setback for these lots, CMS 1 and 2. Do I have any comments on that?
And I'll make a motion
Okay, motion Matthew to accept as presented.
Yes.
Okay, motion Matthew, second.
Second.
Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that'll be on the 4-2. We are going to skip 3, but we're going to keep the numbering system. So the fourth item would be the amendment to the table of the landscape to make sure the chart matches the text and require the landscaping and buffering.
Recommend approval.
Got a motion by Kevin and a second. Was that Marshall?
Yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That'll be on 4-2. Number 5, again paraphrasing, is to fix the grammatical error in the parking requirement that made you do at least 25% or more. Do I have a motion on that one?
So moved.
Motion Matthew, second Joey, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That goes. Item 6, again, the subdivision final plat, putting the aggregate lot ownership if the area is not maintained. Any questions or comments? I will say I've seen this several other places and it seems to be coming out, so I'm assuming we're not the only one that.
As they do the CRS.
Yeah, the language here was based on what Gulfport requires.
Okay.
And Biloxi is similar.
Yeah, okay. So do I have any comments or questions on that one?
Recommend approval.
As presented? All right, recommend by Kevin, second by Marshall, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, number 7, again, this is just kind of fixing the the errant or outdated section and website addresses. Kind of more of a grammatical thing, for lack of a better way to say it. Any questions on that one?
And I'll make a motion.
Okay. To accept as presented?
Yes.
Motion Matthew, second Joey, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And then finally, the definition of single-family attached, item 8. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question about that. Just kind of make it more transparent, is there a little bit of something that you could put some clarity on? I mean, it's saying dwelling, single-family attached to dwelling units per each owned in fee simply located on individual lots that are joined together on one lot line. Is there another way that can be a little clearer?
You divide the dirt, I mean, that's,
mean,
instead of
it's-
just the house.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 dwelling units, one structure. I mean, could add, if that would help some, to say 2 dwelling units in a single structure.
Okay, that would kind of give it a little more clarity,
I
Andy.
think so. I would actually maybe even add like fee simple land ownership or something that way, because I mean, a lot of people may not see fee simple and
I mean,
think that means the
we're asking
land.
the difference with a duplex. A duplex is usually rented and it's one parcel number.
That's kind of where I just wanted to,
But this divides the dirt
Right.
but you still have a shared wall and it's.
I think if we add at least the 2 dwelling units under a single roof or a single structure, and then maybe just say fee simple land ownership or something like that. You good with that, Matthew?
Let's get specific. 2 dwelling units under a single structure?
Within a single
Within a
structure.
single structure.
Yeah, within a single structure works for me.
But you also wanted to include with separate fee simple ownership, land ownership?
It wouldn't necessarily have to be, I mean, the same person could own both of them, but.
Potentially, yeah. Well, I mean, the same person could put under separate.
I mean, we're getting in like, a condo, you don't own the land underneath, a townhome you do, but otherwise they're pretty much identical. I mean, that's
Employees.
wanted to kind of clarify it, just where.
that it is one roof line, don't worry about the land.
Yeah.
I mean, the fee simple really does take care of it, so that's fine. Okay, so just changing it is 2 dwelling units within one structure.
Okay. Well, you got that?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Matthew to accept as presented with the addition of one structure. Second by Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that takes us out of all the new agenda items, or new business items. Do we have any general public comment, any non-agenda item comments from the public? Okay, what about commissioners? Y'all got anything?
Yeah, so we approved 3 more short-term rentals. Where are we with the cap and how close are we?
Right now, within the density zone, I have 4 more spots to accept applications. There's roughly, I don't have the numbers with me, but there's roughly 6 or 8 in process. But when I say meeting the cap, that's except the number of applications accepted, so, because it takes a while.
Yep.
So right now I could accept 4 applications in the density zone, but I have no room to accept applications outside of the density zone.
So we're sold out, basically.
We're sold out. Now, if one of these doesn't come through for some reason,
Right.
then I can accept another one, but as of this moment, I have all the applications. That also doesn't count for areas that don't have a cap, like the commercially zoned or downtown district. But,
Thank you.
yeah, we're close.
Yep, anybody else? I got one little quick thing. Carolyn, I can get with you on the wording, but can we add on the agenda something about the 3 minutes for speaking? Because I'm terrible at ever telling anybody that, and then I always,
Yeah.
we had very respectful people tonight.
And I think we used to have that, but when we went to civic clerk, we have to change the template, but I can find out for.
Okay, yeah, if you need any help with that, I'll be happy to look at it with you.
Okay.
But that would help me in my forgetfulness. Anybody else, commissioners? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I got a motion by everybody. We'll go Matthew, and Mike is the second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you all. Friday night, got the people playing, huh? Yeah. Very cool. I'm gonna try to make it. I don't know if we're.
Come by, Live House tomorrow, too. Or not?
I got it on my. No, it's Thursday.
I can't remember what day it is.
Yeah, I know.
I know what date.
I know. I'm staying in town just to come to that.
Oh, good.